Hey there, it's Seth Myers. Wanted to talk about the Crossroads Marathon coming up. Both kind of promote it to encourage folks to sign up, but also wanted to briefly kind of talk about my training leading up to it. Because for me personally, I'm not really a runner, but I've been training pretty consistently and pretty well. My training's gone really well to try to do well for someone of my size and training history. So again, the Crossroads Marathon happening in Salina. I'll try to post maybe a link to where you can sign up for it. They've got multiple sign up options. So if you didn't know about it, you want to get involved, there's lots of different options to run or walk or volunteer. And that's happening November 5th. So we're a month out. So I'm recording this October 5th. So one more month to get ready for it, to sign up, to decide you want to do it. And hopefully we'll see you there. But I wanted to talk about my training for the marathon. So kind of documenting how it's gone so far. So far, I would say overall, my training's gone really, really well. That's, I feel like I'm kind of new into running, new enough to where I'm getting just lots of newbie gains from doing the thing. Um, and so I've been posting recently on my social media. If you follow me, you've probably seen just some of my runs, whether it's been a fast run that I've been proud of or a longer run that is maybe a long distance for me. But the reality is I run pretty darn consistently, at least four, if not close to 5 or 6 times throughout the week. And that's been going on since about May. So if you think that I've just recently been kind of doing the thing or do it, 2 or 3 times a week, it's been going on. I've decided to sign up for the marathon, I believe, back in May. So beginning of May, give or take, was about when I started training very consistently. What I've noticed with the training for running is there's been a lot of overlap between what you would, I guess, program for running as well as strength and conditioning stuff. So when it comes to programming or what to do for running stuff, I honestly wouldn't really be an awesome resource, at least not a handful of months ago. Now I've kind of gotten an idea of maybe how I would coach someone through doing the thing, just because I've done a bunch of it. But there's a lot of overlap, meaning, or I guess the biggest takeaway is there's a lot of easy days built into the running, especially with this longer distance, where you're just kind of going out and getting some miles and not trying to rack up a giant heart rate or trying to go out and set a PR. And I see that as an analogy for in the gym. There's lots of good quality gains that you can make from going in and working with 70 to 80% of like your max weight. So you don't need to go in, set a PR. You don't need to go in and hit 90, 100% effort lifts, 3, 4, 5 times throughout the week. For the running, that equates for what I've got right now to about 3 to 4 of my days of running are either what I would consider easy or at a pace like my marathon pace that is very easy to maintain and my heart rate doesn't get super high. There's only 2 days out of the week currently where if I actually do the program, the runs are kind of challenging. And even that's kind of slowed down a little bit because we're getting close to the marathon. So there's one day where I do a lot of repeats, 400s, 800s, mile repeats at a very fast pace. And then there's usually another day, which that's kind of calmed down a little bit, where I'm going at a medium to longer distance, anywhere from like 5 to 10-ish miles, where I'm intentionally trying to go at a pretty fast pace, faster than a marathon or my marathon pace. Some other things for marathon. So coming into deciding to run a marathon, the longest I had ever gone in one stretch, I believe, was about 5 or 6 miles back in about 2020. I think with COVID summer, just started running a bunch. But so once you get to those longer mileages, it's just tough to gauge how well you're gonna, stay able to move. And so I've been pretty happy with how well I've been able to stretch some of my long runs and still move at a pretty good pace. So as I got a couple of weeks or months into the training, we decided my goal for the marathon would be about a 3:30, 3.5 hour goal time, which equates to like an 8-minute mile. So I felt pretty comfortable even early on making that as kind of the goal. But as training has progressed, that seems like it's super, super manageable, I shouldn't really have a problem like hitting that. That would actually be kind of my second or third level time goal, is just hitting a 3:30. I think I should be able to do the marathon closer to about the 3:20 or lower time, but I'm not going to worry about that. Initially, goal about 3:30, 8-minute miles. But I also wanted to do my marathon training while maintaining my body weight. So right around 200 pounds, I've kind of stayed there this whole time, which has included eating lots of junk food, which I'm not ashamed to say because I've been putting in lots of miles. But I also wanted to maintain a lot of my top end strength still. I haven't been hitting a bunch of like top end strength stuff in the gym just because the training I've done. I've had a handful of CrossFit competitions, so we end up doing a lot of those specific workouts that are in the competition, which typically don't call for lots of deadlift or squatting or pressing 1 rep maxes, maybe some Olympic lifting stuff, but still consistently deadlift about 500 pretty much once a week. I've done that for quite a while, and that's going to be another one of my goals, is to deadlift 500 the same morning that I'm going to run the marathon. So we'll see if I can check that box as well. And so far I've been able to maintain my size pretty well, maintain a lot of the top end strength, and I've stayed relatively injury free. And I say that relatively because I haven't had something that's really set me back. I will 100% say that running has gotten me tweaked, and things have been irritated and painful way more than any other training I've done. So I think there's like this mass conspiracy in the running world to like make people think that running is good or, fun or not injury prone, but it totally is not. So with all the CrossFit stuff I've done, with all the weightlifting stuff I've done, even other types of training modalities, gymnastics, I haven't really sustained any type of injury over the last handful of years that has set me back or maybe missed training a bunch with that type of training specifically. But with running, there's been runs or days or things where I've had to modify the mileage I'm going to hit or the pace or the cadence, which actually those are things that I recommend to the patients that I see. But for me specifically, I've had an Achilles thing, I've had some knee stuff, I've had some foot pain, hip things here and there. Luckily, I'm kind of getting to the point where with a lot of the miles that I've put in, I'm starting to feel pretty good overall. Don't really have any of those tweaks currently. So if I can stay feeling like this for the next month, then I would be really, really confident going into the marathon itself. But again, I still, to date, my longest run has been 20 miles. And so that last 6 miles I hear is really where that race starts. So my goal, again, with the race is just to stay comfortable and try to maintain the pace that we set based off of how my training's gone. And we'll go from there. Anyways, that's kind of a super generic overview of how my training has gone. I'd love to answer any specific questions if you're curious about what my training looked like very, very specifically, because I could talk about that for a while. But again, the Crossroads Marathon's happening November in Salina. If you are someone who's been curious about it or want to sign up, I would say go ahead and do it. It sounds like me as a person signed up for it, that it's going to be a really awesome event. There's multiple DJs that are going to be there. There's going to be lots of people all throughout the entire course. And the course itself looks like it should be relatively flat, but pretty fun to run around the town. So lastly, too, with the marathon is if you haven't signed up, but you'd like to get involved and you're not someone who wants to run, you can always sign up as a volunteer. So they're almost always looking for volunteers to help out on race day, which again should be still lots of fun. Yeah, but like I said, if you've got any questions specifically about what my marathon training looked like or things I would recommend in terms of like shoes or strategy or anything like that, I don't know if I'm the best resource, but I can tell you kind of my experience, what my training has looked like so far. So if you've watched this all the way through, thanks for watching and have a nice day.